Hey guys, welcome back to Doherty's Custom Creations. We are down here in my basement, of course. Where else would we be? So, what I did, by the time that I wasn't posting videos, is that I planted peas, which I believe I showed in my last video, I believe. Don't hold me to it though. So, I reset up all my hydro stuff under the 400 watt metal halide. I planted my peas in there, and then I put my other plants over under a T5, which I will show you in a second. So, what I did here is, so these are my peas. The reason why these pipes are all shiny and reflective is because they were getting kind of gross looking and I didn't like it. So then I thought, hey, why not put foil tape over it and reflect some of the light back? It makes it horrible for the camera, but it looks nicer when you're here. So what I did is, I already organized everything. I reset up my dripper line setting. I went to Menards, bought me some actual plastic dripper line because this blue stuff leaks when you put dripper line on it. So I got the right stuff, poked new holes in it, put valves on the end of here so I have more control over it. And then I just spliced it in and I cut off where the holes were, and I just put a corner piece in and then put the blue tubing back on top of here, and then it also loops onto the other side as well, right there, as you can see in the corner. There's a valve right there. So then I poked holes in here, put all my sprinklers or my drippers back in here, poked each one in here. We got little stakes, and then it's got little green dripper, little flag drippers they're called, and it just drips a certain amount when it turns on or whatever. So these peas were growing under my T5 for a while. They were starting to get too big, and I was like, I need to do something with it. I mean, the roots, like, these have only been here for like what, a day or two, and the roots are already starting to poke out the bottom. There's one right there, as you can see, and then some of the other ones are actually starting to poke out the bottom already. It's like, wow, they haven't even been in here that long. So yeah, I'm running Flora Nova nutrients, just like a light set of each. If you follow the chart, it tells you what you need to do, so it's pretty simple. I'm not going to explain it for you, but I also have a little tiny fan here, keep air circulating, keep my plants a little stronger, hopefully. So my bulb's on 400 watts right now. Yeah, so I'm curious how it's going to turn out, because last year I did peas under my T5 and it was okay. I did get peas off of it, but hopefully I'm thinking that the metal halide should give me some seriously good peas. And most of the pots here, well, especially in the back, the bigger pots, have two plants in them, two pea plants. This one's got two, that one's got two pea plants, because I mean, they're not that big of plants. I mean, they'll get bigger, of course, but I'll still have enough room. Another thing I'm looking at buying is my pH meter. Starting to go junk on me. Doesn't like to read the numbers completely, and I had to replace the battery. Like, some of the numbers don't pop up, like that 7, see, like 3 and stuff like that. It just doesn't want to show up. So I'm thinking I'm going to go buy a new one, which I really don't want to because they get expensive. But if I do, I think I'll go with the Blue Lab. My hookup down here I got, so this is like kind of a mess of tubing and whatnot. But in simple terms, what I have is a line. Okay, the pump comes out. There's a line that goes up this way and up the other way to keep the pressure even throughout the dripper line. So I had the tube before, the blue tube running like right across from here, and these things would always hit it, and I'd have to go on top of it and whatnot. So what I did is I took some of the black tubing, and I cut a long rectangular piece, or a long straight piece back. As you can kind of see, it's hard to, but I don't want to move everything. The black tubing goes back there. It pretty much takes the blue line, routes it behind my table so I can stuff everything back in there nicely. The black tubing is very cheap. It's costing me about $9 for a 25-foot roll, and yes, you have to buy 25 feet. You don't really have a choice. That's the only problem, but stuff works really nice. Cuts pretty easy. It's pretty nice to work with. You don't have to use any heat. Stuff fits on there pretty well. And then my other line, so that goes out to there. And then also I have zip ties and the barb fittings so they don't leak, just in case, just to make sure I didn't have this on here before, but I want to make sure this stuff doesn't leak anymore, so I just put zip ties over here, just like as hose clamps, just so it doesn't leak. All these are is cheap gas valves I bought. They're the cheapest valves I could find. And then I took some water fittings with a barb on it, screwed it into the gas valve, and then hooked tubing on there. That's all I did. I think these are, what, like $3, and these are $1 a piece. It's cheaper than buying like a freaking copper valve or something like that. So that's what I use. These are gas valves. And then I put some pipe compound here so it won't leak. And then all this one, this is pretty much a drain hose. It's kind of long. And then I took another valve, put it down here, and then I have one of the black pieces of tubing. So I can either drain this or circulate water faster through my whole hydro system. I have 8 gallons of water in my hydro system right now. I like to keep that. It seems like it works pretty well, and it lasts about 2 weeks. I have a hole here for temperature gauge or adding nutrients through here. Timer right here. Keep track of my pump, does its own thing. Timer for my light as well. So there's a little water temperature gauge. And then I got a plant back there that I'm growing under here to get it bigger and hopefully get it back more for my girlfriend. And then I got a spider plant over here that's just massive. I want it to keep getting bigger though, so I can go put it upstairs and show it off to everybody. So okay, so now we're gonna go over to my other side that has all the other plants like the peppers and stuff. I wanted to overwinter. I threw that was under my halide. Then I was like, what am I gonna do with that? So I stuck it back here where the peas were, under my T5. So yes, it's a huge pile of green. It looks really cool. So these are my peppers, which are seriously putting out some leaves after being under that light. And I'm watering those with Flora Nova nutrients, not Flora Grow nutrients, Flora Nova. Flora Nova I don't like in the hydro system, but I love it for indoor plants and soil. It works perfectly. So the peppers, they're all starting to shoot out leaves, little tiny leaves, and the stalks are thick as hell. So hopefully next year they should get me some serious yield off of them. I'm trying to keep them trimmed back so they don't start blossoming or anything like that, because that's the last thing I want. I don't feel like dealing with all that. See, all starting to come out bottom and stuff like that. So spider plants I had under there, of course. These things never stop growing. 2 here. I got a huge jade tree plant. More spider plants, another jade tree, spider plants, and then here is a huge planter I want to do. So, like that spider plant over there, I think is massive, along with this one. This one's just sitting in a little tiny pot, and I think it's huge. This, I want to be, I have 2 jade plants on each side, then I just filled the rest with spider plants. I'm hoping these will just get huge and just fill it up. So, what I want to do is put that on my coffee table upstairs, and then add some life into the living room to make it nice and green and whatnot. So, of course, here now it's winter here in Wisconsin, but the humidifiers aren't on as much, so clearly I'm not producing as much water. I don't want to use well water because it's got a serious parts per million already, and it's got like 500 to 600 parts per million. pH is horribly off balance, so I'm not going to use that stuff. So what I've been doing is using city water, but I don't have a tap down here yet. The water's right there, but I can't get it because there's no spout. So what I do is take the other day, I took the 5-gallon bucket and the 2-gallon bucket, and I carried it up downstairs a few times, and I filled this back up because everything needs water to grow. So, well, yeah, in the future, hopefully I'll have a tap in here pretty soon. I can just fill it up right away, no problem, kind of a deal. But let's get it going on. So, yeah, everything's all neatly organized now. I like it a lot better. Everything's clean and shiny. So I'll keep you guys updated on my peas. Maybe we'll do a time lapse on the peas. But there is a time lapse at the end of this video showing how, like, I just put it together. Just a time lapse of what I did. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me if you hate it. Tell me if you love it. I don't know. I'll keep you guys updated.